Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you or your team are still relying on spotting bad grammar, weird formatting, or those clunky generic greetings to catch a phishing email, I've got to break it to you. Those old rules are completely dead. We are literally standing at the edge of a massive paradigm shift in cybersecurity. Artificial intelligence has given attackers the power to just bypass human intuition entirely. Okay, let's dive right into this. 54%. That is the absolutely massive click-through rate that AI-generated phishing campaigns are hitting right now. And honestly, the truly terrifying part? It takes an attacker maybe 5 minutes and like 5 simple prompts to spin up a campaign that gets that kind of success. We aren't dealing with those sloppy, mass-produced junk emails anymore. We are dealing with flawless, hyper-personalized manipulation. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the new phishing paradigm, then map out the AI attack lifecycle, check out deepfakes and voice clones, and finally wrap up with defending the AI era.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the new phishing paradigm, beyond bad grammar.
The contrast between the old way and this new AI way is, frankly, staggering. Think about it. In the past, crafting a really sophisticated spear phishing campaign took upwards of 16 hours of human effort, and it usually yielded around a 12% success rate. Today, using AI, that creation time drops to just 5 minutes. The language is flawlessly native, the content is hyper-personalized using data scraped right off social media, and the scale is basically unlimited. It's a whole new ballgame. So let's actually define what we're talking about here. AI phishing is social engineering that uses large language models, the tech behind tools like ChatGPT, along with deepfakes and automation to create highly convincing, personalized campaigns at absolute scale. This isn't just a slightly better email template. It is an automated engine that harvests your personal and professional data to build a trap specifically designed for you, completely bypassing our natural human intuition. And if you're wondering why we're seeing such an explosion in these attacks right now, well, here it is. AI tools have slashed the cost per target for attackers by over 95%. They're now spending less than $5 a pop to launch these incredibly sophisticated campaigns. This fundamental shift in the economics of cybercrime means attackers can now mass produce the kind of spear phishing attacks that used to be strictly reserved for only the absolute highest value targets.
Moving right along to Section 2, the AI attack lifecycle, speed and scale.
The sheer speed of these operations is wild, and it plays out across 6 distinct stages. First up, AI automates the reconnaissance, basically gathering open-source intelligence by scraping LinkedIn and combing through past data breaches. Second, machine learning maps out relationships and pinpoints targets. Third, large language models generate contextually perfect content. Fourth, the AI picks the absolute best delivery channel. Maybe that's email, SMS, or even a voice call. Fifth, it deploys polymorphic landing pages. These are pages that literally shapeshift to dodge detection and steal your credentials. And finally, stage 6, the attacker uses those credentials to move laterally through your network.
So the crucial point I want you to take away here is 14 minutes. That entire 6-step sequence we just walked through, it can execute from initial credential theft all the way to active exploitation in just 14 minutes. That is vastly faster than most traditional security teams, or, human beings in general, can even detect and respond to a threat.
And the barrier to entry for the bad guys? It has completely vanished. The dark web is basically functioning like legitimate software-as-a-service platforms nowadays. I mean, you've got tools like WormGPT available for just $60 a month, or FraudGPT for $200 a month. These are completely uncensored language models explicitly built for churning out malicious content. This accessibility has fueled the massive rise of what's known as vibe hacking. Attackers don't even need to learn technical coding skills anymore. They just rely purely on these AI shortcuts to launch incredibly sophisticated campaigns. Which brings us to Section 3, deepfakes and voice clones, the new faces of fraud. Take a second and read this quote on the screen. Back in early 2024, at the massive multinational engineering firm Arup, a finance employee transferred $25 million straight to attackers. How did this happen? Well, they were invited to a live, multi-person video call with the company's CFO and several other senior executives. But here's the catch. Every single executive on that screen was an AI-generated deepfake created from publicly available footage. This is the visceral $25 million reality of modern AI phishing. When you actually track the evolution of this, it is staggering. In 2019, a German CEO's voice was cloned to steal $243,000. Fast forward to 2024, and we saw that live video $25 million heist. And in 2025, deepfake fraud incidents surged by a mind-blowing 680% year over year. Today, modern AI systems need just 5 minutes of recorded audio. That could be pulled from a podcast, a conference keynote, or even just a random video complaining on social media. And that's all they need to flawlessly clone anyone's voice in real time. But it's not just voice and video. Attackers are getting super creative with how they deliver these payloads. Enter phishing, or QR code phishing. Attackers are now using AI to perfectly optimize the placement and context of malicious QR codes in emails. Why do this? Because a QR code entirely bypasses traditional email link scanning security. Right now, this tactic makes up roughly 25% of all email phishing, with almost 90% of those attacks aggressively gunning for Microsoft 365 credentials. If you look across the overall business landscape, you'll see these risks are uniquely distributed. Healthcare is facing a massive 41.9% susceptibility rate, which makes it the most targeted industry out there. Meanwhile, financial services is getting hit with an average breach cost of $6.1 million, largely driven by AI-generated business email compromise attacks targeting wire transfers. So yeah, absolutely no sector is immune to this. All right, let's pivot to the solution in Section 4, Defending the AI Era, the Blueprint. So here is the good news. The industry is starting to fight fire with fire. According to the World Economic Forum's 2026 Outlook, 77% of organizations are now actively adopting AI-native security tools to defend against these exact threats. We literally have to use defensive AI to detect the behavioral anomalies of offensive AI. It's an arms race, for sure. And this brilliantly illustrates why the old methods just don't cut it anymore. Relying on legacy defense, which basically just inspects the content of an email or tries to match known threat signatures, is a losing battle. The AI-generated content is just too perfect, and every single email is a unique polymorphic variant. The AI-era defense has to shift entirely to behavioral analysis. We need to look at identity-correlated behavioral signals. What that means is we look at how the user is acting. Are there unusual login times, weird data access patterns, a sudden, out-of-character, urgent request? That's what we need to flag, rather than just scanning the text itself. This also means we have got to aggressively rebuild the human viral wall. A lot of the old training is honestly counterproductive now. We need to completely drop the focus on looking for bad grammar. Remember those old rules we talked about at the start? Useless. Instead, organizations have to implement continuous AI-generated simulations, quick micro-training, and, most importantly, mandatory out-of-band verification. If a CFO asks for a wire transfer on a video call, the absolute new rule has to be that the employee verifies it through a completely separate channel, like a secure internal messaging app, before sending a single dime. And from a purely technical standpoint, this is absolutely the single most critical control you can implement: phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication. Specifically, we're talking about FIDO2 or WebAuthn. Standard SMS codes, they can be easily intercepted by AI-generated polymorphic login pages. But FIDO2 hardware keys cryptographically bind to specific legitimate domains. Think of it like a physical key that mathematically refuses to turn inside a fake lock. This means even if your employee is completely fooled by a flawless AI landing page, the credential theft is mathematically prevented from succeeding. It's a real game changer. So what does this all mean? The paradigm has fundamentally shifted. Content inspection is dead, and visual or vocal confirmation can no longer be blindly trusted. So I want to leave you with this urgent question to take back to your organization today. When your next video call is a flawless, real-time AI deepfake of your CEO, will your team know exactly what to do? Update your verification protocols, upgrade your authentication, and please stay vigilant. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.